Hello everybody, my name's Lance and thanks for watching my channel today, Lance Reithmeier Art on YouTube. Today's video is going to be a complete oil painting tutorial from start to finish. So this will help you go find the products you need to paint. It'll help you clean brushes. It'll help you just in general if you're wanting to learn. It'll be a very complete video. It's going to be over an hour long, but I think if you're learning to paint or you're interested in painting, this video may potentially help you out there. So the stores that I'm going to use, they don't sponsor me, they don't pay me. I'm just using them because they're convenient and they're in the area. You don't have to use those stores. You can use other stores. You can buy your products online. The one thing that I want to stress is not to spend a lot of money when you're starting out. You don't want to break the bank or your budget. You just want to kind of keep it simple and try to get some affordable products that you can use to start painting. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get the video going. If you have any questions, send me a message if you want to see something different. But I think it's going to be a pretty good video and hopefully it helps you if you really want to learn how to paint. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day. Hello everybody, this is Lance and today I'm going to take you into Hobby Lobby and show you everything that you need if you want to learn to paint. I'll walk into the store and show you an easy, affordable way to get into painting. So let's do it. Okay, you can grab a pack of these. These are 11 by 14s, $12.99, and you get this mini. And you can grab one of these. This is a oil paint set, $5.99, or you can get one of these, $10.99. It just has a little more in it. You also every other week they usually have specials like this. You can buy individuals if you choose, and also these are roughly $5.49 a piece, so they'd be 40% off. It's another thing you can do to save money. And you can get this brush set here. It's pretty kind of like having a brush set for a kind of like bristle. They're a little bit better than the fine synthetics. And a $7.99. Grab one of these. It is 99 cents, maybe a couple of those. 1 inch. We got the 2-inch, $1.49. Grab one of those. A couple of those, very inexpensive. Then if you want, you can get one of these, which is a very inexpensive, really soft blender brush, $4.49. And these do go on sale every couple weeks, 40% off if they're Master's Touch. I'm gonna pick up a script liner brush or two, whatever size. This is a size 1, and you can get size 2, $3.99. Okay, one thing that I did forget too is fan brushes. So what you want to do, the packet didn't include a fan brush or two. You got to pick a couple of those up too. These are also available there. And you might have a 3 and a 6 here. These are bristle fan brushes. They work good for trees and grass and things like that. So definitely grab those. And if you get them on 40% off days, if you're going to that hobby store, they're even cheaper. So I would get one of these palette knives. They are $2.49. You can get one of those if you choose, a bigger one. You could get one of these too, $2.49. They're very inexpensive. Be able to use these for mountains and also mix and paint. Grab one of these. It's just a simple palette, and that is $3.79. Or you can choose a bigger one if you like. A wood palette like this. I'd probably get that one, it's bigger. Okay. You can use paper palettes also. Give you sheets. Okay. This would be 40% off too. And you can get liquid, which is good. It's a little pricey, $7.99. This will just help mix your help blend stuff, make your paints thinner, and you can put that on the canvas. And I'll also show you some other stuff that you can use to blend on the canvas so you can do wet on wet. Okay, here's some other mediums that I was going to talk to you about. Here's your liquid that I have. This is liquid white. It's a Bob Ross product. Liquid clear. This is the same thing you get at the Hobby Lobby. I did not see any of this stuff there, and so I couldn't find it at the local store today. That one looks like it's $16.99 at Hobby Lobby, and I didn't see any more. And so you can get this stuff online, you can get it on Amazon, but it's nice to have this white medium. You can get it in this brand too. Works good. These clears work really good for depending on what you want on your base coat when you're painting wet on wet. And Liquin works good too. I've used that before, but I prefer this stuff over Liquin. And then this is also a clear gel that works good too on prepping your canvas and making your paints thinner, and you can also put that on your canvas. It's much easier to blend with a wet canvas in this technique. And then some gesso if you want to paint your this is acrylic gesso, and this is just if you want to paint your canvases black. Don't buy black canvases, they're super expensive. Just get this and paint over them. Here's a nice affordable easel, $10.99, that you can do. And it will hold your 13 by 17, so this should be nice, or any easel you want that you can use to hold your painting up. There's lots of them. They're not expensive. This one seems like it's very sturdy though. Okay, and they do go on sale. You can check in the art store, or you can check online, or anything like that. You can grab one of these. We need one of these, or you can go smaller, grab a lid. I want some of these odorless mineral spirits for cleaning your brushes. Price. You can get one of these also if you choose. Okay, when you're doing oil paints, you got to have a cleaning system, and I do all mine in the garage. I don't like having my cleaning in the house, but and I'll go through this when I clean brushes, but really quickly, these are just garbage cans, plastic ones. This one I've put a piece of wood through, and I use that to clean the brush. And then this one I use with this rack right here. Okay, and that just goes right in there, and that works pretty good too. These buckets are inexpensive. You can put anything through there that you choose. And then over here is my what we're going to get at the Home Depot is right there, and you just have paint thinner in there and one of these in the bottom. These you can also buy at the store. You can buy them on Amazon, I think. They're not expensive. Or if you want to be, you can create your own with just a little grate and put it in the bottom, and your brushes can live on there. Also, I use this, which is just another grate that I use for smaller brushes to clean off. So, and again, I will do a video cleaning brushes at the end of this. Okay, been to the store, got all the stuff, got different things we might need to complete this project and learn how to paint. And I'm going to do a really easy painting for you that you can do, and hopefully it'll work out really easy, and it's a good starter painting for the first time. It's not over difficult, don't want to make it hard. And so if you have luck at the beginning, I think you'll want to do more. So again, the reason I use the stores in the video is because they have the products at a good price. They don't sponsor me. I don't, they don't pay me or nothing, but you got to get the stuff somewhere. So those are easy places to get them, and there's good prices on them. You can go on the internet and look too. There's a lot of quality stuff out there. If you don't have the hobby stores where you're at, but that's okay. I just kind of want to show you the general things that you can get that are going to help you with your painting. So anyway, let's get going. First thing I'm going to do is, remember we started a base coat, and we're going to use this, and you can get different kinds of it. This is what I have, and it seems to last quite a while. So I'm going to take and use this brush. It's $1.49 I've had, and I've really never used that one before. So first of all, I'm gonna move the camera and get it in position. I think we've got it dialed in here, and so I'm gonna take this larger brush here, and I'm gonna dip it in this stuff, or just grab some. This stuff's messy, but it's really thin, and this will be our base coat. I'm just gonna come in and scrub it in here, okay? And if you get it over here, it doesn't matter. This is just a wooden palette, or a wooden canvas that I got, and since it's the same size, And this is 11 by 14, the same ones I was showing you at the art store that you can use. Okay, and I'm just going to come through here and put this on here. See how that goes? And have paper towels handy. And I can tell you, it's thick, very thick on here, so it's going to be too much. So I'll show you. But anyway, sometimes you can go and get the glare, and you can tell by going over and looking where it might be too thin, too not thin here. But mainly this works really good for blending your skies and water and reflection. So hopefully that's plenty. I'm going to get this out of the way. And it's always important when you're doing stuff is to try to keep your your hands clean. So but when you come in here, you can check this, and that's obviously that's way too much. Okay, and so one thing you can do, you can wipe your brush off a little bit like this. Okay, and then come back over and just kind of spread it around some more. Okay, let's get it on there. Again, we're going to do some sky. I might show you some clouds. This is just going to be a landscape painting with mountains, some trees, some water. And I'll go, and a lot of the brushes that I'm using will be what I showed you at the store. That's pretty good. And you can come back in and, oops, I'm klutzing around here. I've got my, I use a wired mic. I don't use a wireless one. And you can wipe it off. Okay, if you have too much, see all that? Then you can do the finger test again. Perfect. See, you want to be able to see through your fingers. You don't want it always covered on there. So, okay, there. And this canvas, when the ones I showed you, they're primed already, so they'll hold this color, and they'll hold that for you, so you can. It won't soak right into there. Okay. Here is the 2-inch brush. So let's do it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of come in and we're going to let's get some blue on there. This is phthalo blue. And if you don't have phthalo blue in your pack, don't worry about it. Just use whatever blue. Use whatever red, crimson, brown. These are just basic colors. And we're going to start up here. Okay. And if it touches there, I don't care. Okay, I'm going to try to maybe hold up here so it doesn't wiggle as much, but okay, just throw some blue. You're just going to do a sky. Okay, leave some holes in there if you want. Okay. Okay. How's that look? Okay, and then what we want to do down here, and I don't know, I didn't do it, but you can just use this. Okay. And you can pull from the outside in if you want. It's easier to blend because we want water in here, right? Just pull from the outside in. Okay. And you can leave a little sheen in the middle if you want. You don't have to. Just go across. Okay. So you've got that. Okay, you've got a sky, you've got some water in there. Very simple. It's very easy. Now another thing you can do is you can come back up in these. We can grab, and I've got a lot of brushes, but you can come back in and grab a little crimson, just a little bit. I don't want that much, but that's okay. Globbed on there. And you can always take and wipe it off if you get too much. And that's all I did. I wiped it onto. Now let's come down here and maybe even put a little crimson in there. Make a little crimson and blue will be nice. They'll make a purple color when they mix. We can do that right down to here. And then you can come in. See that? Don't worry, just kind of do that. And then down here, this will be reflection. So let's go ahead and bring that down into the water. And you can add phthalo green in here into the water and it'll make it darker and make it look greener. And we'll see if I can grab some of that. I do have phthalo green. Phthalo green may or may not be in that packet that I pointed out, which it's not a big deal. I should use a clean brush to blend all this, but I think I can wipe this off and maybe just use it. Okay. I usually have paper towels over here. Forgive me. I'm trying to knock off as much of that. We'll see how it works. So we'll come down here, and we're going to just start blending right in here. And you can use different brushes. Remember this one? We'll use it. Okay, and this was another one that was at the store. You're going to start right in here and just go back and forth. You can crisscross it if you want. Okay, and just work your way up. Okay, into the sky. See, that's nice and soft. And if you want, I can come back in and grab the other brush down here. Just go side to side, okay? Don't worry about the sides, but see what it's going to do is give you some nice blend into the water, okay? Up here, I'm going to try using this one again. I can go wash it, but I don't really want to right now, but I'm going to come up here and use this one. It's a little stiffer, so it's going to blend these lines out a little more, okay? And then you just work it up. And today we don't really care if, you know, we get too much. And see, you're not getting in too much of that purple up here in the sky, okay? There, so you got nice little sky, and I like that. I think that'll be all right. So the next thing I'm going to do is, you know, I'm going to show you how to do some easy clouds. And that's all you really need to do. I mean, you can come down here, add some of that in. You could put some phthalo green in the water too, but I think we'll just leave our water like that today. And if you want to do also, another thing you can do when you're doing this is you can take and get a little more blue if you want, and kind of make the corners a little darker, and it will give you a little more depth. See, like that corner there, and just kind of bring it over like that. Okay, see that? And then it kind of should get lighter as it gets to the horizon. And then down here we can add a little darker into the corners. See? Bring that up a little. Again, there's that 99-cent brush. And I've heard, don't break the bank if you're starting to paint. You know, I hear a lot of people say don't buy cheap brushes, but I wouldn't, and then just lightly blend. I wouldn't go and break the bank. Now, if you get to the point where you want to keep going and you think, you know, you want to invest in that, do. But don't go buy expensive paints and all that stuff for doing your first painting, okay? Sometimes you can take local classes and stuff, which is nice too. And they can help you. They'll supply all the stuff, and occasionally they might have a beverage or there for you, tea, or some do alcohol. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to take this brush here, and these were also at the art store, and you can, these are really nice little brushes to use for clouds. You can use a fan brush too, but I think, actually, yeah, I think I will use a fan brush today. So we're going to grab some white, get a lot of white on there, okay? You can smash it in. If you want to make them, you can get a little bit of red in there. Not much. Okay, that'll make them look good. And I've got more paints and stuff. And what we're going to do is maybe we'll just make some clouds that come. See these light spots? Just kind of come in and, you know, maybe just touch, a little bounce around, swirl it, you know, grab some spots. Just move them around like this. You know, okay, leave the bottoms, you know, just leave the bottoms, leave holes in them, and then you can come in and just kind of grab this blender brush, okay, just kind of blend out the bottom, soften them up a little bit, okay, wipe it off, and you can come through and just kind of come across. Okay, nice soft cloud. Grab some more paint. Maybe you want to come up here and just round them off a little bit. See that? Get some paint on there. Come back in, round it off. Clouds are usually kind of fluffy at the top, and then they, you know, you can just practice them. They're not hard, but they, you know, if you're going to be doing clouds, you just need to work on them. You can pull them to the side. Sometimes at the bottom they flatten out. You can do like right here, you can do a little bit. Just be loose, okay? And then pull them around. See that? Maybe that one comes down. And there's a nice cloud. You got some nice soft clouds there. And they're very, you know, we could have put some dark in there also, but today I think it looks good like that, okay? You can put another one. If you're gonna do layers, you know, you can come back in. Maybe kind of just lightly. See, if you have more paint on them, you know, you can move that around a little bit. I'm wiping it off. And then just kind of, you can pull them up if you want, a little bit. And then you can lightly go across and set them back into the sky. That looks pretty good. You want to add a cloud in front of there. Grab some more paint. And you can do the same thing. Just put that in front of him. Yeah, again, lots of paint. Yeah, maybe it just comes down like that. That one sits in front of it. Okay, and if you want it to be a little more fluffy up top, do that. That differences in paint is very important though, and you can pull that around, just kind of come in and barely touch, pull it up again. Not straight up, hook it a little bit, and then just go across. Okay, so now you have nice little clouds over there, and that's all we need today. I don't want to make this too difficult. You don't need to put clouds in there if you don't want to either. So, okay. Next thing is, I'm going to take the palette knife, and here we go. This is the one I think was at the store. They're pretty much the same, any type of these. Okay, if you see, they're not angled. Some are, but today we'll try this one. Kind of like, this one's pretty pointy, so I like this one better, but I want to use the one that I had at the store. I'm hoping none of this falls off. I've got my setup here, and if you get a hair, do that, okay? Thanks everybody for watching and supporting the channel too. If you want to consider liking and subscribing, it helps me grow and helps my content get out there, which is kind of cool. One of my biggest videos now is one that took me about 30 seconds. My son videoed it with my iPhone, and it's just on how I frame canvases, and it's not that good, but people seem to like it. So let's do a mountain, okay? And so today, let's just take some of this brown, okay? A little brown, get a little blue in there. Okay, get a little crimson in there maybe. Not too much. And a lot of phthalo blue in there. Okay. Too much. We'll see. Just brown and phthalo blue. That's not, and we're just going to make some mountains. Now you can use a pencil if you want to sketch them in first. Let's do that. I don't do it much, but if you want to kind of detail out your mountain, you can say, that's going to push there, so let's put the mountain over here. You know, just for composition, maybe this will lead you here, and then if we have a mountain right in here, maybe it'll just go up. Your big peak, okay? And it come down, and then you can put another peak here, and then just let it go, you know, and we can kind of fix that. And then maybe we'll do I can have a peak maybe right here. Again, we'll do a 3-peak mountain. Those are easy to do, and it'll probably make the scene a little easier. Okay, so we're going through here. Grab the paint. You can do it this way or whatever. Just get some paint on there. And let's come in here and just kind of push it in. The darker your base coat when you're learning mountains, the better. See that? And you don't need to, just make sure you cover get a little more brown in there. Okay. Come up here and just fill it in. You know, and then you can, you see, easy that is. You can use a brush on this too, but just kind of use the knife. And it's nice because it bends the knife, you know, the canvas is nice. Canvas boards can be a little more tricky, so I think canvases starting out are easy. Canvas boards, they don't hold the liquid white. Remember the first thing we put on as well. But you know, just make these little bumps here and there. Don't make them too pointy. You know, make them like this. We can push. That looks pretty good. And don't worry. You just want to worry about the top line there. And see that? Okay, get a little more on there. Okay, push. Bring it down. You don't need to bring that paint too far, okay, because I'm going to show you. Now what we're going to do is, when you're doing this, you want to try to get rid of a lot of this. The tips don't matter, but, okay. And we're going to bring the sun from this side today, the light. Maybe you've got another little peak here. You can have little things going down, okay. That's all we need. Now, I'm going to go wipe this off over here. Sorry, I just don't have a lot of room for too much. So there's our peaks. You know, so if you're doing mountains, 3 peaks, easy to do. And let's go in here. So we're going to come in here, get that going. See that? There we go. Scrape. If you have, the less you have of this on there, you know, the easier it's going to be. Try not to make your base straight, flat. It looks better without it. If you want to save some paint, you can put it back over there. Okay, and now what we're going to do is I'm going to take, I just like this flat brush here, okay, and I'm just going to come in, and I don't want to, I'm going to use, let's see, we can use this one too. I used earlier, but we can pull down, just pull this down, okay, we're going to pull at this angle here today, pull it out, okay. You can pull that one that way, maybe. Okay, there's a lot of paint on there. Okay, so there's our mountain there. Now up top here, we can kind of come down and just pull that paint off. Okay, if you want to make a little. This is just a, you know, like a 1/4 inch brush, and we're just going to have that go there. Okay, I'm going to come back in and probably use this brush here, and we're just going to kind of blend some, kind of tap, pull this up, okay, get some of that paint off of there. Okay, we're just going to kind of soften the bottom, tap it, whatever, okay, you want the bottoms to be lighter as it gets down, pull that down, just pulling paint off, okay, so you have your mountain shape there, and that's all we really need, okay. We can come back in, and we can add a little white at the base if we want, you know, or we can come in and kind of pull that down. See that? How it just disappears. Okay. So there, you just kind of take as much of the paint off as you can. Now your mountains, this is the first part of your mountain. We're going to want it kind of up in the air there. We're going to, you know, kind of up where it's nice and kind of misty and stuff. So the next thing we're going to do, and this can be kind of hard when you're starting out, but I want to take some, let's see, highlight color is going to be over here, right? And we can still scrape more of that off, okay, if we need to. Get as much off as you can. There. Okay. There, wipe that off. I have no rush today. I'm trying to make this look so when you see it, you can really, you know, there we go, pull a little more down. See, a little bit lighter, a little bit better. That's okay. And we've got some peaks here. It'll disappear over there. Now we're going to come in and we're going to work on our highlights. So highlights are coming from the side, and you can do highlights or shadows however you want to do them. But today I'm going to use some brown. Grab some brown, okay, and I'll grab some more, get some white in there, okay, I like that, maybe a little yellow ochre, okay, this is summer painting, so let's come in and grab the knife, grab some of that, leave it kind of where it's at, it's got a little bit of, okay, and then we're going to start and kind of figure out how we want our mountains to go. You know, there's a lot going on here, so we're going to start probably right here and just pull. You can start at the most distant one. And there's a lot of paint on there. I'm going to try to lower. And then just pull. Touch and pull. This is difficult. It takes practice, okay? When you're this far away, you want to be really... Okay, just pull it down. Just let it bounce if you need to. Okay. There we go. And then as you come down, you can open them. You can open it up. You don't. There's a lot of paint on there. I'm going to get a little more white in there. Okay. A little more white. Come up top there and just touch. Pull. You can change the mountains. It doesn't matter. Okay. Don't push too hard. You kind of want to go as light as you can. Grab some more paint. And let's go to this one, and maybe that one comes down here. You can start this way, pull it. It's got to break. If it doesn't break, then you're gonna, it won't look as good. Okay. You want all those little holes and stuff in there. Grab some more. Excuse me. And then you can come down here again. It's harder to break once you open this up, though. It really is easier. See what I'm trying to do? Just be soft. Okay, that looks all right. And we'll probably mix some more paint here in a minute, but when you're up in here, you gotta kind of, you can just let it bounce up in there. Okay. There, so you got a nice shadow. Get some more of that color. Some yellow ochre in there. White. So guess what? I'm going to need some more white. There. It's about the same, and it doesn't have to be. And then again, let's come up here and okay, just kind of let it fall and break. Okay. Best you can. Okay, come up here. There it is. Just follow it down. You got to keep it pretty level, pretty flat. Okay. And I've got the shakes a little bit today, so and hopefully I can edit some of this and zoom in and all that and stuff. But we got, and we're gonna just kind of keep pulling, maybe we goes up here and then this ledge comes down to there. See the nice mountains, and as you keep creating these highlights, you're really getting some really nice dimension to the mountain, right? And if you want, you can just kind of touch and tap and go back and forth up there. But leave some dark areas. That's what we want, okay? Because we're going to come in and put some shadows in. And I think I want this to keep coming over to here a little bit. Watch this. Pull up if you have, and then just keep going down. As they come down, flatten it out. Okay, down here, less. Okay, there's your mountain. This is definitely a summer mountain. This could be a peak in Glacier. It could be a peak. I live in Montana, so I paint a lot of glacier stuff. Now back here, we're going to come in, and this little peak here, maybe it's just, let me see. Yeah, get some on there. Maybe this one just comes down and there's just a little hitting on it. Okay, just a little bit right in there. There. There's more white in there. Ooh, that's all right. I'm going to mix some more color, but there. Maybe that one just comes down into there like so. Just a little bit hits that because there's very dark back there. Okay. Okay, I got to clean off my knife, and I just wipe it on a paper towel. Okay, that's all you need to do. Okay, now we got to come in, and we're definitely going to need some more white. And when I got all my colors over here, so we can kind of, let's get some white in there. Okay, and let's see, I probably need some more brown. Forgive me, watch out. Let's see how easy you can do this with not a lot of colors. And this is the same brand, it's just a bigger version. You know, I get them on sale. This was $3.79. I don't know if they're trying to get rid of oil paints. because they don't have a ton of it there for some reason. But we'll come in here, get some more blue. Okay, some brown. Blue and brown, white. Okay, and this is going to be our shadow color. So this is going to be the shadow in our mountains. Okay, and I like that. Okay, blue, brown, white. And same knife. And we're going to put some shadows in. And this can get kind of tricky. Maybe a little more white. There we go. Just the way it'll stand out a little more, okay? This is going to be a little tricky, so I'm going to come in. I like to go like this sometimes. You see how I did that? And then let's see. We're going to have some... Let's start right here. Just grab. Shadow's got to go the opposite way. Just grab, push it in there. And then just pull it this way. Okay. See that? Not too bad. Okay. As we get up top, I'm going to use this one. Okay. And I'm just going to come up here and it's tight. Just try to pull this way. See? You can kind of get away with those shadows. Maybe they come down to here. See that? Just make little indications in there. They get darker. Who cares? That looks good. Okay, you can come back in and again put the shadow in there. Up here. Okay. Come in, maybe a little more blue in there. There, and you go. Come back in here and see that? Grab up here. Grab and pull. Get some more of that in there. You come here. Get some darker in there, blue. Some color in there. See, you're just pulling the opposite way. And these take practice, okay? Don't get upset if it doesn't work the first time. See that? Pull that out. And you got some nice shadows in there. And it kind of looks like a mountain, you know? It's pretty realistic. I like it. Come over here, and we got some more over here that comes down this way. A little more blue in there, but that's all right. You know, I'm going to grab here and just pull it. There. Grab there. Just little bits here and there. Come in here. Add some more of that color in there. However you want. You know. Come in here. There. There. Over here. Maybe there's little bits in here. Darker areas, you can just blast them in there. And that dark helps too. It gives it a lot of depth in them deep spots. Okay? So, don't worry. I mean, you know, that is how, you know, nice way to have your mountain show. Now, if you want to, you can come back in and maybe get a little white in there. A little whiter. Make it stand out a little more. You know, more. And you can mess with these. I'm not going to take forever today. Watch this. You can just come in and add a little color in there. Get a little more of that blue in there up top. Some of these colors might be a little too much, too intense, but it kind of gives you an idea on the reflections and where they're at. So, looking good. Okay. Okay, so that's good. I think our mountain looks good. Now if you want, you can come back in and add a little white to this. A little more. And get a little more color. Watch this. And just touch in some highlights. Okay, little highlights there. Okay, wipe it off, because you gotta, it's getting very, okay, maybe you can get a little bit right in here, just touch, pull, bend it, a lot of paint on there, okay, but you gotta have, and this is wet on wet, it can be difficult, okay, a little more, just brown in there, there we go, a little more white in there, and come in, pull that in, yeah, maybe a little bit right there. Okay, that white, mix in there. Oh, there we go. Just use pure white. There's no, you know, this is just light. Just trying to add a little more color, more light to it. to make it stand out a little more. Shoot, maybe there's still a little bit of snow up there. Who knows? Over here. Just pull it down. Touch, barely touching. Maybe up top here you want a little bit, make it stand out. You see how delicate the touch is on this, okay? A little bit right in here. There. What do you think? I think that looks pretty good for a mountain. And, you know, you can bring that farther over, maybe a little bit more right in here. Watch this. Just a little bit right in here. See that? There, more peaks coming towards you. These little peaks just, they keep getting closer and closer. So, okay, that's good. Mountain's done. So next thing I want to do is I'm going to come back in and I'm going to take this brush again and I'm going to come in and just kind of pull this down. Okay. And, you know, if you get paint on there, oops, just pull it down. Come up here. We want to create a little mist, right? Pull. You're getting a little color in there. That's okay. Shoot, you can come in. I'll show you with something. Pull this way on those. Okay. You can mist it out a little bit. There. Here. Okay. Another thing you can do, and I learned this from another painter I used to watch a lot, is you can take a paper towel. One of my lots of people I watch online, and it's good though because you can kind of get a little bit of idea, and then you can bring this down. Okay, and you just kind of pull the paint out, maybe lighten it up. See that? Look at that. Pull. Okay, over here. See that blue? Let that out of there a little. See, when you pull the paint off, remember it's white underneath? There. And you can do that. There. So I just wanted to take a little paint off, and then you can grab a clear brush and just kind of tap. See? Tap. If you want to bring a little light into there, you can, maybe at the base. Watch. Just a little bit. See this? Follow your angles. Tap it in. See? I'm just wanting to tap and create some light at the bottom. Okay. This way, that way. Bring it up. Wipe that brush off again. And there's our 99 center, right? And then you can just pull that down. Again. Follow your angles. I'm just trying to mist the mountain a little bit so we can put some other stuff in there. Okay? I like that. I think that looks good. Another thing you can do, and I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to take this fan brush. I'm going to take a little bit of my sap green and some of this color. And I'm going to get a little bit of dark, some distant green in there. You got to have that blue and maybe a little bit. Okay, you can tap that and maybe there's a little bit of, see that? Trees way back there. Coming down. You don't have to do this, but they're distant, and green will kill your distance if you're not careful. Okay, but gosh, today we're going to do it. Okay, see those little tiny, maybe they're coming down. Okay, a little bit over in here. Not too high, see that? Because the farther things get, there. And then over here, it can just kind of come in and maybe they, how's that look? A little more. And it's distant, so you got to have, some, you want it to be lighter, right? Okay. Okay, and that's just a fan brush, you know. That's one of the fan brushes we talked about. Excuse me. At the bottom. See that? You can add a little white, come back in. Not too much. Just a little light at the base. Push everything back. Okay. So there you go. How's that looking? Pretty simple, isn't it? Okay, now next thing we're going to do is I'm going to create some distant land. So I'm going to use this one with the blue in it, and I'm going to take some of this color, some green, just some dark, maybe some crimson in there, and I don't want some green. Get some more of that crimson in there. I'm just trying to get some brown, some blue. Okay, darker brownish looking. I don't know, a little more crimson in there. More a little blue. Just mixing these colors. I want to get some. Okay, and we're going to come in and, you know, and with all that, another thing you can do is you can take that fan brush and you can, or this one, you know, and just lightly pull up. You know, follow your angles. And it might give you little indications of trees. You don't have to do it, but just tiny little, okay, disappearing in there. But now I'm going to come in, and we want to come in, and we're going to come in. Okay, there's just going to create a some land right in here. Okay, push everything back. Now you see that mist we left there helps out with creating a distance, right? There. Some more green, some more blue. I should be using some brown, some red, just a dark color, okay? We can put more on there. There we go. So everything's getting pushed back here, okay? Okay, just say that comes down, and you kind of want it to, we're going to have water here. So we'll just kind of make it right to there, okay? And that'll work. And we can come back in and take this brush, remember we had, and we can pull down here, okay? So we have some shadows in the water, okay? So we're just going to pull that down. And this is, okay, straight down if you can. Okay, that's a little taller there, so go a little farther. See? And then let it come to the point there. And grab a little more if you want, darken it. There. More of that color. Just for reflections. There. There, so you got that little bit there. Okay, I like that. And then over here, we're going to do it again. We're going to have a little something that's going to come over here and kind of just do this. Okay. How's that look? Got a little more brown, green, blue, whatever. Crimson. Just dark colors. Okay, see that? Ooh, that looks good. And you're just tapping in with your, there, with your 99-cent brush. And over here I'm getting kind of close, but see some blues and stuff in there. But that doesn't, that'll be all right. Okay, so then let's grab this guy again and just pull him down. I can go all the way down. Watch this. Out of sight. There. And this is just your water line. You know, you got to have some water in there. And then once you do that, you can come and go this way. Just lightly just go across. Kind of hypnotizes it a little bit. See that? There. So you got some water lines. That looks good. Just an easy thing you can do to create midground, foreground, midground. You got some mist back there. Now we're going to come back in with our fan brush here, and I'm going to create, you know, another thing we can do is I'm going to take this brush here. It's a clean one, and you know we've got colors and stuff here, but we're going to have to mix up. I want you to do, we're going to put some highlights on these for now. So let's take some green, put that right here. Get some green, maybe some ochre in there. Some yellow. Get some white in there. Mix that together. Ooh, it's pretty light, isn't it? Okay. More green in there. Some brown to dull it down. Okay. This is just some highlight. Okay. See, brown's a duller, so if you don't like it, that'll look much better. See how it dulls it? Pull it up. That should be enough for our highlights. Now, one thing we're getting to here is we're running into a lot of wet paint. So one thing you can do is you got to really goop it on there. You can go, you know, with these, you know, we could come in again, and I don't want to ruin them, but I could come in and lightly touch, you know, take some of that paint off that I threw in there. Okay, this isn't a bad idea. Don't worry about, just lightly touch, don't smear. Okay, and it'll take some of that base paint off. And I learned this from, I can't forget his name. I'd give him some props, but okay. Where's the light coming from? This way. So just maybe throw a little color up on these. See? That's not bad. Let's get a little more white in there. Don't you think? Okay. Okay, you want to, might be a little, I'm just tapping that in. Okay, ready? Just touch the highlights on there. See that? Just gives you a little bit of, and leave gaps, and just kind of make some grass stuff in there, okay? Go to the other side. Right up here. See them? Highlights, gives a little, and keep in mind there's going to be dark spots in there too, so don't kill all your dark. Okay, bottom should be a little darker. Okay, there. And you can put a little dot down here if you want. So you just pull it down into there. Little highlights. Not that hard to do. Grab your other brush, pull down again. And it kind of gives a little color in there, like that'll go across. Again, lightly. There, so you got some reflections under there. I want my fan brush, and we're gonna put some trees in. So we're gonna come in and grab some more of this dark. I'm just gonna grab it all and make some dark. Get some green in there. Okay. This will be good for our trees. That's a lot of color there. I'm gonna need some more green. Some sap green in there. All the blues, just mix them together. Throw some more green in. Oh, good. I found another brush that I need. There. See how dark those are? Like green's in there. Okay. And you don't have to overmix it. Doesn't matter. But we're going to use this one here. Okay. And there's already color on there, so it might lighten a little bit. But it's a good green. Okay. See how thick that brush is? And we're just going to come in and put some trees in. Okay. Maybe there's some. Just come in and tap down. Lots of color. And then just touch. That one's got a lot in it. Pull it down a little. And then come back in and just go from the inside out. Work your bristles. Just pushing. There. Let them be. Will this look nice up here? When you get up top, you know, you can work from the inside out. See, that looks like a pretty good tree. Do another one here next to them. And you can use a smaller brush to do the lines. Sometimes it's easier. You can even do this if you want. Maybe we'll have one there. That's sometimes easier, makes them look better. And then just again, I always start in the middle. Some people start up top, just tapping. You know, leave some openings in them. Not all trees go all the way to the top. Or a lot of times they might have some, you know, make it a little darker at the base. Okay. Again, see? And you just use your fan brush up top, just barely touch. Whatever's comfortable for you, okay? Go back to this one and do the same thing. You can leave gaps, just smash it in. These are smaller ones, so they can be harder to do. You know, and you can just, there. Go up top here. See that? Pull it to the side. You can see how good those look. And a little darker underneath. Okay, so you get a little darker underneath. Come back in. Let's see. Maybe we'll do another one here, just a little one. You know, maybe these little softer ones right here. You can't see them as much. Okay. You can go sideways, whatever. You know, come up a little. They can change. You know, maybe that one goes like this. Doesn't matter. There. So you got some indications of trees in there. Again, come over here. There's one here. Let's get some paint on there. That's your one there. Got one here maybe. Just trees. Over here we got one. Right there. Keep in mind now, some of these are going to be pretty, you know, with all the paint. You have to really smash it in when you get to the mountain there. Okay, push up if you need to. There, that's a good looking tree though. And just bring it right to there. Up top here. Take a run and shot at it. Oh, don't get it. Okay, again, up top here, just barely touch. Okay, you don't need to overdo. I'm running out of paint. Now, what happens is if you run out of paint and you start doing it too much, you're going to end up pushing too hard. So let's see here. Okay, see that one? Maybe he doesn't go all the way to the top. Okay, give him some character. That one doesn't need to have, you know, and come in here. Maybe you start at the bottom on this one. I don't know. There's no set way of doing it. It doesn't matter. But it's a good fan brush. And this is, I think, a 3. And you can come over here if you want edges. You just got to learn how to use your fan brush, okay? And when you're doing these, you should probably go with odd numbers. You know, once you get above a certain amount, it doesn't matter. But then you got darker here, you know, or you can't really see. The light's not hitting. Pull some of that down there if you want. Remember, dark in there. Maybe those reflect into the water, you know. See, put those trees in there. Come back over. See, this brush keeps working good. See, again, same thing. Maybe wipe it off. Come back around. Go side to side. Lightly. Don't overdo, because if you overdo, it'll kind of mess it up. So that doesn't look too bad, does it? Those trees. What do you think? I think we could probably maybe make another one right here. Yeah. Give him a little. See, watch this. Maybe that's a little more distinct right there. Maybe you want to do more distinct here too. Just start adding stuff to it. Okay, maybe those are farther away. There. Get underneath here. Where you're not getting the light. Yeah, a little black to that if you wanted to darken it. Down in there. There, see that? And you got just a nice little whatever. Now, I'm going to wipe this brush off. Get all the green off of there. And another thing you can do is you got to be careful here, but you can come in and, if you want, push those up. Come right in the middle. A lot of times if you did it like there, you don't need to. Maybe this one has something sticking up. See, when you use the knife, they're really pointy already. So these ones, like this one here, you probably didn't need to do nothing to, really. Okay, now I'm going to grab this bigger fan brush. I don't use the same one. I'm just going to have to wipe it off. Okay, a lot of paint, and then let's grab some of this. Get a little yellow in there. Okay, tap. Okay, a little yellow in there. We got any brown? Okay, just give us a little highlights on these. Push, push, push. There's a lot of paint on here, and kind of our light's coming from the left, so you can just kind of touch some highlights in there. Not a lot. See that? I'm trying to focus on the left side of the trees where the light is. Light comes in it, you know. This will give them a little, you know, down down here. These ones are farther, but over here you could put that on there. Maybe push that around. You never know. Get that yellow in there a little bit. Okay, again, watch this. See the left side? Over here, that one. Okay, just a little bit of action on him. Over here. You find those tops of those. Find the tops of them. You can go in the middle too, because some of them stick out. Up here, just barely touching. Okay, so now you had some trees with some highlights on them. If you really want to have some fun here, get some more white, yellow right here. Watch this. Maybe there's some sun hitting right down there to the water. A little bit right there, maybe. See, you can just choose what you want to do. Maybe it's kind of shooting through right there. And the reason I'm just using this yellow is because it'll stick out a little bit. There. Maybe there's a little bit coming through there, barely hitting over here. You know, touch there and there. Just makes it look better, huh? Maybe there's a really bright little piece right there. On those, you can add more. It's getting to the point where you can't get too many highlights on wet because they're just going to mush in. Okay. Now if you want to add a few more cool things, you can just grab this and pull some of that color up. See? Makes it look like there's little things in there. Over here you can do that. See? We're going to put some stuff in. Maybe there's some trees that are just sticking up that are dead or something. Maybe put one there. See? Just add some excitement. Try not to do that because it'll break it up a little bit. Okay, got to get this wrapped up. So remember this color? Let's get some more blue in there. We got some. I'm going to use that and come in here and just kind of make a water line. Okay, right here. And you just pull from one angle. You don't need to make it level. I mean, you can make different areas, is what I'm saying. It doesn't need to be one straight line. Maybe it comes over here. You know, it goes like that. Just pushing up. Can you see that? Push up. And go over here. Maybe it comes out of there. Maybe there's some mud under there. I don't know. Get some more white in there. I've got some green, but maybe there's some algae in the water. Come over here and just the same thing. I'll make some water lines. Down here. You know, maybe over here we got it. Let's come in here. Just same thing. Just touch. Pull that out of there. A bit in here. Okay, over here. See? And see when you, maybe there's a little bit that's back here, you know, just behind it. See? You want to get into the dark, and it'll give you just a little bit of stuff going on. Down below, you don't need to overdo these, but they do give you a little bit of, and then back there you just use your imagination, you know, where the water goes, and I don't know, maybe back in there might be a water line. You know, who knows? It just disappears back into nowhere. Not too bright. Maybe some blue. I don't know. Back in here. You know, maybe there's just far goes away. So. Well, how do you think about that, huh? Now we can come back in, maybe grab some more of that, some of that. Maybe make a little dark, and then come in here, push up, maybe make some tree trunks. Just go right in the middle, touch. See that? A little bit right there, just a little bit. Smaller and a little tougher. Sometimes it's better to do this before I add all the highlights. Let's see, just want indications. And you can just scratch them out too. You know, they can have light in them too. Get a little light in there, I like that one. Just touch, see? There's so much paint. I'm just touching. You know, there. So now you got some trunks and stuff in there. And nice little mountain scene. And if you want, boy, you can come in and pull some of this down a little more. that. You can do that. Make it come down a little bit further. Get a little color in there, maybe. Some white. I don't want too much green in there, but just pull that down. Kind of makes it come down a little farther and still has that mist in there, right? How's that look? Okay, what else could we do? I mean, you've got, you know, just a simple scene with a mountain in the background. Lots of paint on there. These can be easier to do if you're on a bigger canvas too, but this is 11 by 14, so is this. And it looks good. You can also come in and maybe we want to have a little more action in there. This is just the blue. I need some green in there maybe. And maybe you want to have a little, I don't know, maybe a little island right in here. It's protruding up. Little island right there. Okay. Bring it all the way down. Get some dark in there, some red, whatever. Okay. There we go. See that? And you come back in. I'm just pushing this brush in. There, there's a little hump there. It comes down, you know. See that? And push up. See the little grasses you get out of it? There, there's a little island out there. And that kind of adds a little fun to it. Now, with that, you can come back in and grab the fan brush with the light on it. And watch this. You can tap this way. There's some highlights on there. See that? Just tap. Like that. Open the bristles up. A bigger one might work better, but see, you can just use any brush you want. How's that? Get you a little... Yeah, leave the bottoms a little darker. So you got some grass there. And let's see here. Where's that palette knife? There it is. Wipe it off. Okay. And you can come in and grab some dark again. Watch this. And just go up. Maybe you want to do a tree. One there. A couple of trees in there. Maybe one there. Yeah. And then maybe one over here. Let's see. Right there. Not that tall though. I don't want them to stand up too high. Okay. And then we can take our brush again. Get some dark on there. Some black in there. There. Black and yellow makes a nice green. Let's use some of that yellow. Watch this. There. And we'll just kind of come in and watch these little trees. Again, maybe these ones are just... See that? I want a little lighter though. There we go. Okay. Lighten it up. I'm just trying to make... There. Just little ones. Just come in and make them look like little Charlie Brown trees. There. There. Just little ones. Oh, and there goes that blow farther, doesn't he? And that's a little darker there, so we can put some dark in there. Just go down. Get a little more of that dark. Just trying to make that one stand out a little more. Ooh, there, see? A little bit there. Light against dark. Dark against light. At the bottom, see? Get a little that dark. Down here. You can do all different kinds of brushes for these trees, but we just want to throw a few in there and maybe put a little dark right in this area so you can see them, huh? Maybe there's just a touch. There, so you got those little three down there, even numbers, and I think they add a little bit of excitement. Okay, and one other thing you can do is you can take this brush and pull up, flick up. You want it to look like more grass there. See? Just kind of pull up, flick up a little bit. Maybe grab a little dark in here. A little darker than I want, but down at the base. Okay, and if you don't like that, you can come back in and tap it. Okay, see, just getting some dark in there. There, so you got that little one in there. And I think we're good. Now you can also do this. Maybe pull that up. Little tree there. Just little things. You know, those might have little points on them. And I think we're done. So there you have a nice easy painting. You got some trees in there. And try it. I might have want to add a little bit of something there, something there, maybe there, a little bit here and there. It looks pretty good. And if it gets too much, you can come back in and blotch over it. See? That's how you get rid of them. That one. There. And just kind of work on them. So hopefully this painting helped you, and maybe it taught you how to do a landscape painting. Super easy. You can do it. You can do it. And you know, down in here, just darkness. You could add some land in there. But this is about an easy way to do them. And give it a try. And if you have any questions, let me know. And have a good day. Thanks again for watching. Okay, the painting's over, and I'm going to show you how I clean my brushes. We're done. I remember I showed you earlier I have my cleaning stuff over here. And we're going to show you, this is how I do it, but I don't like cleaning inside. But in here, we've got paint thinner. See if my son Cooper can kind of zoom in here. Show that. There's a little... Okay. Okay, there we go. And I put them in here and let them dry. Okay. Now remember this brush. Okay. This is the 2-inch brush. Again, you can dip it in here. There's not a lot of paint on it. And you can bring it over to one of these and go. Okay. And see, most of the paint comes off of it. Then you go back in, and that'll keep your paint this bucket, your main bucket, pretty clean. Okay. We'll let the water come out. There it is. And then I got another one over here. Can you see in there? Rake it on there. Wipe it on a paper napkin. Done. Okay. Okay, we have this brush. And we're going to do the same thing. Just dip it in there. Get it all in there. Come over here. The one with the doll. Okay, it might get a little dirty. So you clean it off. Back in, wipe it off, bring it in here because it's pretty clean. Knock as much off as you can and go into this one again that we showed you. Okay, or if you want to be Bob Ross, you can do this. Makes a little bit of a mess. Wipe it off. I like to pull as much paint out of the furrows as I can and put it in the bucket. Okay, super dirty. We're going to dip it in there once. Okay, bring it over here. See how much paint comes out of there? Don't be afraid to waste paint thinner. Okay, it's almost clean. Then we're going to bring it back in. Okay, and we're going to put it in the other one. Go over there. Okay, remember the small one I used on the mountains? Do that. Now this one, I have an old whole canvas over here. Just scrub it off. Come back in. You don't want to go too rough in this on this grate in here because, again, this is what's inside of there right now. Okay, same thing. And you want to beat up these bristles too much. Okay, and then wipe it off. Okay, back in there. One more dirty one. Put it in the water, or the paint thinner. It can get messy. You can let it sit a little longer than that. Again, back in there. There you go. Wipe it off. Clean it up good. Okay. Wipe it off right here if you want. This is why I do this outside. Very clean brush. Can you see that? Throw it in there. And our old last one, fan brush. This is all the brushes we used today. Now I didn't sign the painting today, but we did have we could have with a liner brush. I'll just wait till it dries. Again, these smaller ones, instead of banging them in here, I use an old canvas that I put up here. I just wipe off as much as I can. You can pull it out. I don't use soap and water on my brushes. On bristle brushes, they seem to get fluffy and they don't hold their shape. Okay, squeeze the paint thinner out. There you go. So you got your one bucket, nothing in there. You got these two, and another thing you can do, you can put this down here and use that, a grate like that too. I like my canvas panel too. So, all right, hopefully that helps you complete your painting, and we're done. Thank